All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham HaRakakodash. Double honors to our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abba. So this is from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. They put out that they're going to start their STI National Strategic Plan. All right, which this is the overview of it. All right, what is the STI National Strategic Plan? The Sexually Transmitted Infections National Strategic Plan, PDF, which I read through it, and it's saying the same thing as I'm about to read for you in this article, all right? That they're going to pretty much push for the MOTB, the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, to be pushed on Jake, all right, to medical purpose, which the FDA approved it, right? They approved for patients to be implanted with implantable microchips, which we know is prophesied in the Holy Scriptures as the mark of the beast, which they're going to make mandatory for buying and selling, right? So it says here that what their desired plan is to be able to, right here it says the vision of the STI plan. It says the United States will be a place where sexually transmitted infections are prevented. So how would they prevent them unless they're tracking your health, right? That's the implantable microchip. And where every person has high quality STI prevention, care, and treatment while living free from stigma and discrimination. Stigma and discrimination. Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, and rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So this here, speaking of the mark, right, which is charagma, when it breaks it down in 18 of the number of this beast, Revelation 13:18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for the number of it is the number of a man, dealing with the elite of the so-called white man, the red devil the Bible speaks of, and his number is 600, threescore is 6. And when you go into this word, right, you have chi stigma, right? Chi stigma. That's what it is in the Greek. Chi stigma. All right. So it ain't no coincidence that they have in here stigma. Okay. Because they're literally going to be pushing the implantable microchip. It says vision of the STI plan. The United States will be a place where sexually transmitted infections are prevented and where every person has high quality STI prevention care and treatment while living free from stigma and discrimination. This vision includes all people regardless of age, sex, gender, identity, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, religion, disability, geographic location, or socio-economic circumstances. Once again, just like it says in this verse 16, Revelation 13:16, and he, the so-called white man that rules the world, the elite, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right? And what is a stigma? How are they using stigma and discrimination? Let's see. It says stigma.
Stigma.
A mark of disgrace, associated with a particular circumstance. See, so they're saying if you don't get this, there's going to be a disgrace on you where you're not able to go into the stores to be able to buy or sell. All right. So now the goals, it says the STI plan has 5 high-level goals: prevent new STIs, improve the health of people by reducing adverse harmful outcomes of STIs, accelerate progress in STI research, technology, and innovation, which they're going to bring out that chip, reduce STI related health disparities and health inequities, achieve integrated, coordinated efforts that address the STI epidemic, which is that chip. All right. Let me show you in the scope. It says the plan's goals, objectives, and strategies apply equally to most STIs, although it highlights 4 of the STIs that have the greatest impacts on the health of the nation: chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and HPV. Which I heard they saying that the women, when they go to the gyms and they're in their tight spandex showing their body off, and they got an STD, they're putting it all over that wherever they're at. You know, they're pulling their sweaty, dirty underwear out of their crotch. On their fingers is their STDs. So when they're touching, everything in the gyms, right, with their infected twat, and they got those tight clothes, short shorts, the STD is able to spread, right? Which in this image it actually shows the woman as being the infection, right? So it says it also identifies populations and geographic regions that experience the highest burden of STIs based on nationwide data, which I'm going to read who they're saying that is, which it's the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian. The biblical Hebrew Israelites, so that the federal agencies and other stakeholders can focus their resources to have the greatest impact. Stakeholders are encouraged to use the data for the jurisdiction of populations they serve to identify where their resource may have the greatest impact. Now let's get the population, priority population, right? It says the STI plan is designed to meet the prevention and treatment needs of everyone in the United States. Once again, as it says in Revelation 13, he's going to get everyone to take that mark, right? Except for the elect. It says, but the plan recognizes that some groups of people and some communities and regions are more impacted by STIs than others. These specific groups are called priority populations based on national level data. They are adolescents and young adults, men who have sex with men, pregnant women. Within these populations, the plan also notes that certain racial and ethnic minority communities, Black, American Indian, Alaska Native, which are Jake, and Hispanic, which are the biblical Hebrew Israelites. They literally just mentioned the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes sign. See? 12 tribe sign. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Judah, the so-called Negro. Benjamin, the so-called West Indian. Levi, the so-called Haitian. Simeon, the so-called Dominican. Zebulon, the so-called Guatemalan to the Panamanian. Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Rican. Manasseh, the so-called Cuban. Gad, the so-called North American Indian. Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indian. Naphtali, the Argentinian to the Chilean. Asher, the so-called Colombian to the Uruguayan. Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. These make up the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is who they're going to make war with. As it says right here, within these populations, The plan. They have a plan against the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian. And what is that plan? That plan is that implantable microchip. This is their plan. It says, within these populations, the plan also notes that certain racial and ethnic minority communities, which we're really not the minority, we're the majority, black, which there's no such thing as a black person, but they're dealing with the southern kingdom of the tribes of Israel, American Indian, Alaskan Native, and Hispanic, and geographic regions, southern and western regions of the United States are more impacted by STIs than others. You see? So they're on the hunt for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They're going to push this implantable microchip on you for medical purposes. And this is why the FDA has approved the implantable microchip for patients. For what? Vital information about a patient's medical history. Hey, you're in Jacob's trouble. You may not have realized it yet, but that's part of the deception of the devil, the so-called white man. He's a cunning serpent. All right, so he's doing it without you knowing. And most of these people out here are chipped. I know I got a cousin that actually has a chip in her arm because of diabetes. And she thinks nothing of it. All right? So that's what's about to happen. You're about to have a bunch of people implanted with microchips for medical purposes, which is going to be their condemnation to the lake of fire. All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Basham Ha Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abba babal.